We will be discussing chapter number 4, text number 5. Please chant after me. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha
भगवानुवाच
Bahuni me vyatitani
बहूनि मे व्यतीतानि
Janmani tav charjuna
जन्मानि तव चार्जुन
Tanyaham Veda Sarvani
तान्यहं वेद सर्वाणि
Natvam Vetha Parantapa
त्वं वेत्थ परन्तप
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha
श्रीभगवानुवाच
Bahuni me vyatitani
बहूनि मे व्यतीतानि
Janmani tav charjuna
जन्मानि तव चार्जुन
तान्यहं वेद सर्वाणि
तान्यहं वेद सर्वाणि
न त्वं वेत्थ परन्तप.
त्वं वेत्थ परन्तप
Voice is clear. Good. I want this benediction from as many devotees as possible that my throat will also become clear. Throat is not clear. Voice is clear. Technology up till this point is not good. Technology beyond this point is good. Anyways, go ahead.
श्रीभगवानुवाच
Shri Bhagavan Vacha
बहूनि मे व्यतीतानि
Bahuni me vyatitani
जन्मानि तव चार्जुन
Janmani tav charjuna
तानि हम वेद सर्वाणि
Anyaham Veda Sarvani
न त्वं वेत्थ परन्तप
Natvam Vetha Parantapa. So, meaning is very easy. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha. What does it mean? The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna spoke. Now, on this, we can make a small joke that people say, where does it say Krishna spoke? It says Bhagavan spoke. You know what? How they'll interpret? It is said Sri Bhagavan Uvacha. That means the Lord within the heart of Krishna spoke. Actually, they believe like this. Actually, there is a whole sampradaya. Take class in Hindi. Well, for that you will have to come in evening. हिंदी भगवद गीता क्लास है ऑलरेडी फिनिश्ड. हिंदी भगवद गीता क्लास हम पढ़ा चुके हैं हिंदी में. अभी इंग्लिश का सत्र चल रहा है. अगर आपको नहीं समझ में आ रहा है तो आप कुछ और कार्य कर लीजिए, जब कर लीजिए या जो भी कुछ करना चाहते हैं कर लीजिए. अभी तो क्लास इंग्लिश में ही करेंगे. क्या बात कर रहे थे, बीच में बात कर लिया. Yes, so there is actually a sampradaya who believe that Krishna did not speak Bhagavad Gita. No, Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita, but he's not God. Because not mentioned here, is not mentioned Sri Krishna Vacha. But because they're envious, if it was written Sri Krishna Vacha, then they would have said, see, it's not written Sri Bhagavan Vacha. So they will not accept Krishna as Bhagavan. I'm not telling you for a joke. Actually, I don't want to name it. There are people who say like this. And then they say, Shiv Baba's within, switch off this mic. Shiv Baba within Krishna spoke. That was the Bhagwan. Shivji is Bhagwan. Anyhow, so without to do with all this kind of imagination, Sri Bhagavan Uvacha means Sri Bhagavan, Lord Supreme, Krishna spoke. So what was the question? Question is, how am I to understand that you who were born after Sun God was a person who spoke the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita to the Sun God? That was the question. Aparo aparam bhavato janma param janma vivasvataha katham etat vijaniyam tumado proktavaniti. So the Lord speaks like this. He says, how am I to understand? You remember this point? So Lord is giving the answer in that way, that you understand that bahuni me vyatitani. Bahuni me vyatitani means, vyatit means past and bahuni means lot. So there are so many janmani, births of mine. Me means mine. Bahuni me vyatitani janmani. That there have been so many births of mine which have passed. That means in the past also I have taken so many births. Tava cha Arjuna. That cha means and Arjuna means Arjuna, and Tava means yours, and also yours. So first line would mean Bahuni me vyatitani janmani tava cha Arjuna. There have been so many births of mine and of yours also, Arjuna, who have passed. Tani aham veda sarvani. Tani, those, aham means I, and ved means no, and sarvani means all. I know all of them. So this clearly shows his omniscience. Yesterday we have discussed this point, that there will be people who will object the omniscience of Krishna. Krishna is human, then how he can be omniscient? So then Krishna answers that Tani aham veda sarvani. He knows all the birds which he had and all the birds which Arjuna had, and he knows all the birds we had, and what we did, and what we remembered and desired, and everything he knows. So don't think that he only knows about himself and Arjuna. That also will not make him fully omniscient, because he knows about himself and knows about Arjuna. But basically, he wants to say that he knows about everybody. Natvam Vethat Parantapa. Parantapa means chastiser of enemy. And Vethat means you don't know to know. And Na Vethat means you don't know. So Natvam Vethat Parantapa would mean that you are chastiser of enemies, but you don't remember about your previous person. Very interesting point. No matter how much powerful a living being may be, without Lord's sanction, he cannot remember what he did in his previous lives. And I would have told it several times. Our previous life was not long back. Small point of reflection. My body's age is 39 years old. So I do remember certain things from my 10 years of age. So now let us push myself to 60 years. That means I do have a remembrance of 30 years back in this life. So now when I go to 60, I will have remembrance of, 50 years back of my life? Yes. But right now, I don't remember what happened 50 years back. कुछ समझ में आया मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ? 50 years back, I was in a different body. I would say with same desires of eating, mating, sleeping, and defending. But what I was doing exactly, I don't remember. And none of you also remember. Do you remember? No. Sure. But we definitely don't remember what happened in a previous life. So this, no matter how great a person is, he can't remember what has happened in previous life. So we are not omniscient. The Lord is omniscient. This we are learning from this shloka. A small point of humor. One of my friends, Prananath Prabhu, is really a joker on Shastra. He said, "What is the birthday of Arjuna?" Birthday of Arjuna. How do you know? I said, on the basis of Shastra, what is the birthday of Arjuna? So I don't know, you tell me. So said 4 June. Because there's Janmani, so 4 Juna. So that's quite funny, is it not? That was too far out. But that's all. How also you can explain this shloka, but this is just for humor's sake. And Lord says, I know that. I know that your birthday is on 4th June. Anyways. So, I think I will do the translation. The personality of God had said, many, many births, both you and I have passed. I can remember all of them, but you cannot. O subduer of the enemies. This also brings a very important point in front of us, that we are sitting now in Vrindavan or chanting Hare Krishna. And we may wonder, why me? Obviously, when the chanting is not happening good, then also we question, why me? Who I have to do this? Is it not? But we cannot say no also, because now we have lost taste for our privileged sense gratification also. That's a problem. पहले कम से कम इंद्रिय तृप्ति अच्छी तो लगती थी. Earlier at least sense gratification was feeling nice. Now it doesn't feel nice also. So we have to continue with bhakti. What to do? Anyhow, this is only for humor's sake. But I'm saying that we may not know why we are here, why we are being given this opportunity to do sadhana bhakti. Is it not? Do you know? We don't know. But we must have desired or cried for it in a previous life. Some life, we don't know which life. Or something would have happened. That's why somehow we are here. Is it not, Mataji? If Ayush Prabhu would not have been here, would you have stayed here in Vrindavan alone in that room also? No, is it not? It's not incidental that your brother also is a devotee. Hota allow nahi hota na? And we don't know how after whatever in the future whether you can still continue. I mean, yourself, is it not? You do not have a work from home. You could have not worked from home here. It all appears very simple to us, but nothing is simple. It's all arranged by is arranged by the Lord. But I'm saying all this. Yesterday only I read this very inspirational thing. We should continue with the Krishna consciousness because everything gets accumulated and in due course of time it will fructify. My throat gets bad is fructification of my karma. You may say this happened, that happened. I drink juice so many times. Throat doesn't get bad. Now it is not getting cured also. You understand? And it will get cured in due course of time. Are you able to understand this point? Just like karma fructifies. Similarly, bhakti after some time it fructifies and begins to bear fruits and this is something very nice. And will make sure? Krishna will make sure. This is very nice. Lesson we can learn from here. You understand? Krishna remembers what we have done, what we have desired, what we have aspired for in our previous lives, and that's why he how to say, he facilitates that in this life. Yeah, chance. You never reflect upon it. So many souls are there in insect body and tree body, and we can't even number them. And then and somebody might be sitting somewhere in America or in Bombay in stock exchange or something. Is it not there also human beings? And we don't know when they want to get even chance of doing even makes a devotional service. I mean, chanting Hare Krishna with material desires also. Will they get this chance? That also will be, that is very questionable. Krishna is with us in our heart so that he can facilitate us when we have, sometimes we have desired it, then Krishna facilitates that desire. I mean, he facilitates so many things, but I'm talking only in terms of devotional service. Though I am one, Gita Bhushan commentary. Though I am one, I have many eternal forms. This is confirmed by many statements in the Shrutis, such as Ekopi San Bahuda Yo Avabhati. Ekopi San, hote, San means hote ve, being only one. Api, only he, although he is only one. Krishna, Bahuda Yo Avabhati, but he appears to be many. Though he is one, he appears as many. Gopal Tapani Upanishad. As I hold many eternal forms within myself here very carefully, like the Vaidurya gem which displays many colors, I taught him in another form previously. So now this is quite interesting that sometimes people say, Yahi sikhaya tha kya? Did the same Bhagavad Gita was spoken, or was the same Bhagavad Gita spoken by Lord Krishna to Sun God? Well, first is you have to say yes, because Krishna spoke in the previous shlokas. This what I am speaking to you, I spoke to Sun God. Then somebody says, will Dhritarashtra's words will also be there? How foolish question is there? People ask this questions. How can Dhritarashtra be there when Lord Krishna is speaking to the Sun God? But the essence of the teaching remains the same. You will see many shlokas of Bhagavad Gita resemble other Kathopanishad shlokas also. So the shlokas can also be same. Krishna doesn't have to forget it, but may not necessarily exactly like Dhritarashtra Vacha or Sanjay Vacha will not be there. But the crux of the teachings will remain the same. Now, what is very important, what this shloka has been told is that Krishna, by his inconceivable potency, he can manifest himself in different forms simultaneously, although he remains the same person. And the example has been given here of a Vaidurya gem. Vaidurya gem has a special quality. We are our astrologer, Revati Mataji. Do you know about Vaidurya gem? Oh, she is not. She is here, but simultaneously. I think you are simultaneously here and not here. I don't know. She's here. Video is on. You know anything about Vaidurya gem? Maybe not. I don't know. But some gems you can understand. You look at a gem from a one angle and it's reddish. And this Vaidurya gem you see from another angle, then it is different. So it is depending on the rasa or mood of various devotees. To satisfy that, Krishna manifests different forms. Could you get the point? Am I able to, you're able to understand my whatever throttled voice, so to speak? Just like Vaidurya Mani is one, but you look at from different angles, then you see it differently. Okay, no problem. Are you able to understand this? It's very important. So we don't say that we are looking at a different money. Money means gem, but we see it differently. So if Hanumanji sees Krishna, what he will see? Lord Ram. And if Arjuna sees Krishna, he will see Krishna. And you see, when the gopis want see Krishna, they want to see Krishna in the Braj Bihari Roop form, Golok Vihari Roop. They don't want to see Krishna in the form of Dwarkadhish Krishna. I think you are able to appreciate because the person is same, but because of the mood of the devotee, he manifests different forms because eternally devotees are related to him in different moods. Okay? So this is why. So that's why Lord is saying in another form. I talk to Vivaswan because you may question. I don't know. You don't question, but I question. Krishna only appears once in the day of Brahma. Do you agree? Yes. And if he spoke to sun god, that means he also appeared that time. But we hear that Krishna personally, as the friend of Arjuna, only comes once in a day of Brahma. So then, what does he mean that I spoke? I spoke means in other Vishnu form he spoke. That also can be understood. In detail, we don't know the details, how, in which form, but definitely we can conclude that Krishna only comes once. Is it not? So he spoke before means through his some expansion he spoke the same knowledge, which is also he.
Yes.
Not different. And in another Vishnu form also he can speak. So like this is mentioned that by the Acharya here, Krishna spoke. Intending to say this, the Lord says, I have passed through many births, you because you are my friend. And I must tell you, this is only one possibility. There's also a possibility that Krishna spoke personally. So whatever you want to take, whichever way. Intending to say this, the Lord says, I have passed through many births. You, because you are my friend, also have passed through the same number of births. Why is saying, why Acharya is saying, you are, because you are my friend. Very, very important. Because Arjuna has become friend of Krishna, or not, I will not use the word become because he's an eternal associate. So please take it in that way. Because he is the friend of Krishna. Wherever Krishna will manifest, Krishna will always have his eternal associates manifested with him. Just like if you say, King went somewhere, what does it mean? King did not go alone. King went with his ministers. So this is very nice point. Once our relationship with Krishna is established, it will never be broken. Very nice. I always reflect upon it that sometimes we become attached to people in this world. And no matter how much we are attached to them and they are attached to us, they will be lost for good in due course of time. Do you agree? We don't tend to understand this and we invest so much of our energy, or sometimes we are forced to invest kind of to the modes of material nature in all our attachments to people of this world, in material relationships. But no matter how much quote unquote pleasure they give to us and we give to them, but in due course of time, any time, in due course of time, they will be taken away from us and then we feel grief. समझ रहे ना मेरी बात? Whether a son or wife or mother, father, is it not happening every time? When last time I died, my mother was loving me so much, maybe more than my mother in this life. But then we left. Who knows whether I died as a young boy or old man? Who knows, is it not? That's a reality which we don't want to face. But if Krishna becomes your friend, basically he's our friend, but if the relationship is revived from our side, that's the point. Then, you see, whenever Krishna takes birth, you also take birth with him. But you do not know this because now your knowledge is covered for carrying out my pastimes by my inconceivable energy. Now this another brings to a question in your mind, or at least in my mind, that Naradji does not forget about his previous lives. But then why Arjuna forgets? Is he a lesser devotee than Naradji? You know that you can ask this question. I think somebody asked this question also. That Naradji can remember his previous lives. But Arjuna not. But Arjuna is a very confidential servant of Krishna. So now the answer is very clear. Krishna gives the remembrance to his pure devotees also to facilitate his pastimes. And you see, that's why Arjuna is asking, how am I to understand? So you can able to fix it. By this statement, मैं जितना बोलना चाहता हूँ मेरा गला बोलने नहीं दे रहा है, मुझे बहुत दिक्कत हो रही है, दर्द नहीं हो रहा, आवाज बाहर नहीं आ रही है, बट नहीं आवाज ठीक है, whatever. Krishna is not allowing me to speak that much. By statement coming from the Lord's own mouth, he shows his omniscience. Are you able to follow how this shloka shows the omniscience of the Lord? How?
He knows all the world.
Yes, he knows all means how many? Infinite. There is no number how many times the Lord has taken birth and how many times Arjuna has taken birth. Avatarahi sankhya hare sattva duje nidha. Hare sattva nidhe duja. The avatars of the Supreme Lord is asankhya and he is avdharana. He is for certainty. So now it's very clear. And every time the Lord appears, his devotees also appear. By this statement coming from the Lord's own mouth, he shows his omniscience. It should be understood from this statement that the Lord's birth are real because the statements come from the mouth of the Lord himself, that he has undergone many births. And because further support is given with an example by saying, and you also had many births. But by being born, the Lord does not undergo any transformation, since this is refuted in later statements of the Lord. This is a very heavy statement. This is super heavy. Why? Because it defeats Mayavad. Mayavad philosophy says the Brahman, the impersonal Brahman, gets covered over by Maya, parichinna, becomes limited by Maya, and takes birth in the form of Krishna. This is the highest offense to the Supreme Lord. So by saying this, one thing they are saying very simple is that the Supreme Lord takes birth only once. But the Lord tells here, and the Supreme Brahman becomes transformed by Maya. These are the two things which they are saying. When कुछ ग्रहण कर रहे हैं, ये सब ऊपर से ही जा रहा है. Their point is that the impersonal Brahman becomes transformed by Maya and and only when it has a mode of goodness, then assumes the Supreme Personality of God. Not Supreme Personality of God, but to say Krishna is like that. But what does the Lord say here? Bahuni me vatitani. So there have been many births. And the Acharya is explaining here that later on you know that all are transcendental. What is that? Janma karma chame divyam. Not an ordinary birth. So it is what not an ordinary birth. That means when he comes here, he is not touched by the material energy. Is that clear? This is a very, very deep. That's why I wanted the devotees to at least hear live, because these things cannot be. They might not be noticed when you hear a recording, but maybe they will understand. This is something very nice. This is very nice. And why also these births are real? Because Lord does not speak untruth. कुछ ग्रहण करें इस बात को. Why I am emphasizing this point? They say all our birth, your birth, my birth, his birth, they're all illusory. We are only imagining that we are this body, which is a fact. But it's not that not only that we are imagining that we are the body, they say that we are imagining the body is there. The body is there, we are not imagining. Maya is not that the body itself is not there, or the world itself is not there. Maya is there in the sense that we are not the body and we think that we are the body. कुछ समझ रहे बात? So Krishna's appearance is real. First of all, he does not accept a material body. ठीक है? And that has been confirmed by himself, because he himself says this. So the point is, they don't accept the authority of Krishna, and that's why they concoct so many things. That the pastime of the Supreme Lord is illusory. कुछ समझ में आ रहा है मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ? They are, the Acharya is explaining here that the birth of the Supreme Lord is actually a truth. It is not an illusory manifestation of Maya. जादूगरी नहीं है. It's not a magical trick of Maya. So that's what he's saying, because it has been explained by the Supreme Lord himself. The Lord himself is saying that there have been so many births. He does not say there have been so many illusions of my birth. Clear हो रहा है सब चीजें, बहुत गंभीर चीजें. They are very very serious matters. So that's what they say, that the birth of Supreme Lord is illusory. Okay? What is that? And our birth is also real. Real in the sense, it's not that we are imagining that we have a body. We have a body. It's not that we are imagining that we are suffering. We are suffering. One time, one disciple of Srila Prabhupada, he went to Prabhupada and said, are we imagining that we are in the material world? Is it all a dream and everything? Prabhupada said, you are very much here. You are very much here. So this is again all from Mayavad only, that you are only thinking and illusioning that I am in this world, but actually you are not in the world, something like that. In the Brahma Samhita, we have information of many incarnations of the Lord. So you see now how Prabhupada picked up from the commentary? Yes. It is stated there, Advaitam Achyutam Anadim Anantarupam Adyam Purana Purusham Navayovanam Cha Vedeshu Durlabham Adurlabhamatma Bhakta Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. I worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead Govinda, who is the original person, absolute, infallible, without beginning. Although expanded into unlimited forms, he is still the same, original, the oldest, and the person always appearing as a fresh youth. Such eternal, blissful, all-knowing forms of the Lord are usually not understood by even the best Vedic scholars, but they always manifest to pure unalloyed devotees. Have you understood the shloka? What is that? Advaitam. So the Lord is one. Many meanings of Advaita, but one without a second. He's the only person. Also, it means that the forms of the Lord which the Lord manifests are non-different from him. That Vaiduryaman example. So you're seeing the different gemstone different gemstones, one gemstone from different angles. Then you see differently. But you're seeing the same gemstone. Achyutam means infallible. Infallible means who does not fall. What does not fall? He does not fall from his quality of showing. कुछ तो याद रखो, कुछ तो मदद करो. From showing mercy to his devotees. Nobody who takes shelter of him he ever falls. So many. Nobody in the parivar of Krishna, the family of Krishna, falls. And even if you say Jai Vijay had fallen, he personally came to reclaim them back. And there are so many meanings. So Anadi, you understand, there is no beginning of the Supreme Lord. And Ananta Rupam, although is Advaitam, is one, but is Ananta Rupam. He is manifesting in various incarnations. Adyam, now you may say Adyam is original, but when you say Anadi, it means having no beginning. Then why you say Adyam? If somebody is Anadi, it doesn't mean he's the source of everything. Do you agree? Are you Anadi? How many people say yes here? Anadi. Mataji, you say, are you Anadi? Without beginning? Mataji has doubt. What is it? Gaur Gopal Pro, are you having a beginning or no beginning? You say like this. What does it mean? No, yes. Yes means what? Take one concrete statement. Yes. Yes is very inconclusive. Yes means what? Are you having a beginning or not having a beginning? Yes. So all of us are Anadi. But we are not Adyam. We are not the source of everything. Everything doesn't depend on us. So that's why I say Adyam. Purana Purusham, who is the oldest person. Are Buddha ho gaya hoga tab to? Definitely must become old. Nahi, Navayovanam cha. He is always fresh. So I will understand him by Vedic studies. No Vedeshu Durlabham. Simply by studying of Vedas in a non-devotional way, without bhakti, you can't understand him. Adurlabham Atma Bhaktau. Durlabh means very difficult. And Adurlabh means very easy. Adurlabham Atma Bhaktau. Because a person who is a pure devotee, the Lord will manifest himself to him in his heart. Govindam Adi Purusham Tam Ham Bhajami. So Prabhupada quotes this, and then we'll see why he will say this. Why he is saying this, I think, is becoming clear because Lord has many forms and he can speak Bhagavad Gita, the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, through any of his forms.
Yes.
That's what we learn. And that's why Prabhupada is quoting these shlokas. It is also stated in Brahma Samhita. Ram, you chant in Sanskrit, the South Indian tune. I cannot chant nicely. I feel so much enthused to chant, but my voice is not working. Yes.
Ramadimurtishu kalaniyamena tishtan Nanavataramakaroda bhuvaneshu kintu Krishna swayam samabhavat paramapumanayo
Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Ramadi Murti Shukala Niyamena Tishtam. Ramadi, Ram Adi. That means Rama and others. Murti means form. Murtishu means in those forms. Kala Niyamena Tishtam. He is situated in his various forms, which are his expansions. Kala means expansions. Nanavatar Makarod Bhuvaneshu Kintu. And he appears on the earth planet, Bhuvaneshu. Not only actually earth planet, Bhuvaneshu means in the three worlds, everywhere, in various avatars. But Kintu means but, and you know but means it changes everything. But Krishna Swayam Samabhavat Parapamanyu. But he, Krishna, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the source of all of them. That Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. I mixed English with Sanskrit. That Govinda, who is the Adi Purush, I worship. I worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Govinda, who is always situated in various incarnations such as Rama, Narsingha, and many sub-incarnations as well, but who is the original personality of Godhead known as Krishna and who incarnates personally also. In the Vedas also it is said that, you got this point? Krishna appears through his various forms, and when the need be, when he wants, he can manifest himself also. Yes. In the Vedas also it is said that the Lord, although one without a second, manifests himself in innumerable forms. Eko pisan bahudavo bhati. Just now we read that. So some devotee was asking about what is Gita Bhushan. So you see how Prabhupada is closely following. He may not quote the Sanskrit every time, but he will follow the Tika of Srila Bhakti Bhushan. He is like the Vaidurya stone, which changes color yet still remains one. All those multiforms are understood by the pure unalloyed devotees, but not by a simple study of Vedas. So now you understand why Prabhupada is saying Vaidurya stone? Because the Lord will manifest many forms, and they are not different from him. And the Lord, when he spoke to the Sun God, he may not necessarily speak as Krishna. He may not, but that doesn't make sense. That doesn't make difference also. He can speak through any Vishnu form. Well, Surya Narayana anyhow is there in the sun planet, but that is not different from Krishna speaking. Just like a judge may talk to his, or judge may say something in his home, and he say the same thing in the court. But only there's a difference of dress or formality like that. Formal. Devotees like Arjuna are constant companions of the Lord, and whenever the Lord incarnates, the associate devotees also incarnate in order to serve the Lord in different capacities. Arjuna is one of these devotees, and in this verse it is understood that some millions of years ago, when Lord Krishna spoke the Bhagavad Gita to the sun god Vivaswan, Arjuna in different capacity was also present. I will explain to you in a different way, and I hope you understand this. Arjuna was present with Krishna, and his service was to fight I mean, in terms of fighting the battle of Kurukshetra. But when same Krishna came as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Pandavas appeared as sons of Bhavanand Rai and Pandu appeared as Bhavanand. So you see, the role has changed. The love has not changed.
Ji.
Should I take a little rest? But by the time you understand what I'm speaking, Arjuna, Pandu, Yudhishthira Maharaj, their love for Krishna is same, but their role was different little bit. But as when Krishna comes as Mahaprabhu, there is no need for fighting. So they again appear, and Mahaprabhu himself says, "Oh Bhavanand Rai, you are Pandu, and your sons are Pandavas." Ramanand Rai is incarnation of Arjuna. You know that. Also, Lalita Sakhi also and Arjuna also. कुछ जा रहा है दिमाग में? ये सबको नींद तो नहीं आ रही खाना खाने के बाद? ठीक, हमें तो लग रहा है प्रभु जी आपको आ रही है, मुझे नींद तो नहीं आ रही, मेरा गला से आवाज नहीं आ रही। हे भगवान, क्यों नहीं ठीक कर देते आप? Anyways, so are you able to understand? The Krishna will manifest different forms, and the Lord will the devotees will also act differently in different capacities as per the need. But the difference between the Lord and the Arjuna is that the Lord remembered the incident, whereas Arjuna could not remember. Where is that shloka? Janme janme ho tum. Same. Bhavanand Rai was told by Mahaprabhu that in life after life, you and your family have been my servants. So then they also don't remember that in the previous time when Krishna had appeared, that they had appeared as Pandu. But the Lord remembers. It's quite interesting, is it not? Because whenever we go before the Lord, we don't remember our relationship with the Lord. And the Lord remembers our relationship with us. That's good. We may not feel any love for Him. I don't know, have you started feeling that you have become a devotee? And don't have to be artificially humble, but do you feel, I feel that I'm not a devotee. I just feel, you can't stop serving Krishna also, but feeling nahi aa rahi ki bhakt ban gaye. It's not, feeling nahi hota. There is a difference between the part and parcel living entity and the Supreme Lord. You understand his point? That they forget and the Lord never forgets. Although Arjuna is addressed herein as the mighty hero who could subdue the enemies by what word? Parantapa. Yes, he is unable to recall what had happened in his various past births. That is quite interesting. No matter how much powerful we are, we just know what we did in a previous life and what will come about. Is it not?
Yes.
Quite fearful also. Pata nahi kya aayega. We don't know what is going to come now. What nonsense I did in my last life. This life also I have not left one stone unturned to do nonsense. We don't know what. It's quite frightful, is it not? We don't know how we will be punished. Actually, a fact. Nahi pata na how and with what way karma will come. Just see. Example, Ajamil, suddenly he just sees a prostitute and then gets completely bewildered. But then very nicely told by one, I think his own is Radhakund Maharaj told, yes, we cannot say what happened to Ajamil was good or bad. This is very complicated. You cannot say what happened to him was good or bad. And some people say in last life, Ajamil had cursed a lady, something. We don't know. And then that lady again came in the form of a prostitute to cause him fall down, something like that. Something. He was like a strong brahmachari in last life. But I have not read it in Shastra, so I cannot say. So the people can concoct anything. One devotee will make a joke, bona fide concoctions. Day before yesterday, one devotee said something about Lord Ram's story with diary and everything. I said, Prabhuji, from where did you read it? From Jai Hanuman book. And I said, is there any reference? They have not given any reference. So I also did not give any reference, but you spoke nicely. Yeah. So people speak. But I'm just saying that we just don't know. But good thing also is, Somehow that we know the purpose of life and we know how to execute it and just continue executing it. And the results will be good. One more thing, results are good because this path is also Achyut. Krishna makes sure that you get results of bhakti. Don't give it up. ठीक है, खैर हम बात ही कर रहे थे कि we can't remember. Therefore, a living entity, however great he may be in the material estimation, can never equal the Supreme Lord. Who is Swarat? Everyone else, including Brahmaji, is dependent on his knowledge of the Supreme Lord. Anyone who is a constant companion of the Lord is certainly a liberated person, but he cannot be equal to the Lord because he's constantly engaged in Krishna's service. The Lord is described in the Brahma Samhita is infallible, Achyuta, which means that he never forgets himself, even though he's in material contact. So now you see, now you understand why Prabhupada quote Brahma Samhita Shloka. One more reason is that to bring out that quality of Achyuta. Very interesting, when we come in contact with the material world, we become bewildered and normal conditions will. But the Lord, when he's completely in this world, externally speaking, is still he's not covered over. Just like yesterday you heard Maharaj also. The living entity gets covered over by the modes of material nature, like illumination, like thunder, or like clouds, which refers to the mode of goodness, mode of passion, mode of ignorance. And the Lord may appear to be like that, but it's never like that. And we need to hear it again and again so that we never have any doubt on the person whom we are worshipping. Okay? Just like is mentioned that the glance through the beautiful eyebrows and the eyebrows of the queens of Lord could not agitate him even slightly also. So he was not, how to say, attracted to their beauty, but attracted to the love which they offered. And that's why Bhishma says that I am proud to be a brahmachari, but if I had been in a situation of Krishna, I could not have maintained brahmacharya. So Krishna alone is the brahmachari. He says that when they had to find out who is the person who is supposed to be worshipped the most in that serious sacrifice. Therefore, the Lord and the living entity can never be equal in all respects, even if the living entity is as liberated as Arjuna. But it's quite interesting. Yesterday, only one devotee asked very innocently. I think he was knowing the answer. She was knowing the answer. How Krishna was requested by Arjuna how to move the chariot. She just wanted to hear from me. She was knowing the answer. It's very difficult to give calls when you are fighting. In which direction you want to move the chariot? कैसे बताएंगे बताइए? So then he used to guide Krishna through his feet. He has to not kick. That's what she was understanding. He was kicking, not kicking. He was just touching through his toes of his feet. Toes means feet only, is it not feet? And on his neck. So although nothing is equal to Krishna, nobody is equal to Krishna, but you see how much subservient he becomes to his devotees. And although he could have fought the battle himself and finished in 1 second, release the chakra, bring back the chakra, and everything is finished. Although Arjuna is a devotee of the Lord, he sometimes forgets the nature of the Lord, but by the divine grace, a devotee can at once understand the infallible condition of the Lord, whereas a non-devotee or demon cannot understand this transcendental nature. So this we understand very easily. This line means Arjuna was forgetting only because of the arrangement of the Lord. Lord wanted him to forget. What is that? Pashyetam Panduputranam, Pashyetam Panduputranam, Acharya Mahati Mochmum. No. Sorry. These are the words of Duryodhan. I'm talking about what words Krishna spoke when he took Arjuna in between the two battlefields. I'm forgetting. Krishna spoke that Uvacha Madhusudana, something like that word. In the first chapter, he speaks that in order to expand ignorance within the heart of Arjuna, he takes him between the two armies, and then he speaks something which will cause Yes, 1.25. What does it say? Yeah. Uvacha Partha Pashyetan. Pashyetan word was there. Pashyetan Samvetan Kuruniti. That you see all of them. The Lord said, just behold Partha, all the Kurus assembled here. Are you able to get this point? Arjuna takes a, you please take my chariot between the two armies, and then Krishna says, just see the Kurus assembled here. And by that word, now by saying that, he further increases ignorance in the heart of Arjuna, and that's confirmed there. Tatra pasya satan partha pitrinatha pitahama. Now he's seeing them, but not as enemies. He's seeing them as pitrinatha, pitamaha, I mean his grandfather, acharyas, teachers, matulan, mamas. Mama means brother of maternal uncle, like that. So you see, and on both sides he was seeing. So seeing, the words are very confidential there. He's seeing them in relationship with him, not seeing them as enemies. So you understand, by the Lord's arrangement, some, how to say, the knowledge about the Lord was covered over. But then again, when the Lord will explain, the Lord, devotee will understand. But demons won't understand because they don't want to understand. Consequently, these descriptions in the Gita cannot be understood by demoniac brains. They have brain, but the nature is different. Krishna remembered acts which were performed by him millions of years before. But Arjuna could not, despite the fact that both Krishna and Arjuna are eternal in nature. So you see that when the Lord is speaking this, Arjuna is not questioning it. He accepts what the Lord says. That is the mood of a devotee. Simple. We may also note herein that a living entity forgets everything due to his change of body, but the Lord remembers because he does not change his Sachidananda body. Very easy to understand. Okay. Even in this body we forget everything. Is it not? We have forgotten that once upon a time in this life we were in the womb of the mother. Very comfortable situation. And if you don't think that is uncomfortable, look at the child who's born, how much uncomfortable he is. We have also been child, baby child. If you can actually see, it is really helpless. You can't speak anything. If you have any trouble, you can't speak anything. Those things are described in detail in Bhagavatam. So birth is also very painful. As an old man, at least you can speak what you want. But as a child, you can't speak also. And everybody comes and pulls your whatever, what is a cheek, and you can't say anything. If now somebody pulls your cheek that many times as they had pulled in the childhood time, you will slap also. Apni property bana rakha? Do you think it is your property? But at that time you can't move your, and obviously we don't look that cute also. But you know, it's quite helpless. Very, very, how to say that? Annoying. Anyhow, we don't want to delve too much on that, but we should delve upon it. He is Advaita, which means there is no distinction between his body and himself. So Prabhuji, you explained differently. There are different meanings of Advaita. So here now Advaita means also that his body is not changing. He himself is the body, or his body is himself. Everything in relation to him is spirit, whereas the conditioned soul is different from his material body. It's very difficult to understand, but we are different from the body. You say it's easy to understand. I don't think so. Personally, it's very difficult to understand. Otherwise, why I will have material desires at all? I see like that. Yes, theoretically I may preach and I say so many things, but if I actually understand, then why will I identify with my body and maintain material desires even after hearing so many instructions about this matter? I don't want to be heavy. I'm just heavy with myself. And because the Lord's body and self are identical, his position is always different from that of the ordinary living entity, even when he descends to the material platform. बहुत easy है. He comes in his self-same form, a spiritual form, so he doesn't become entangled with the material modes of nature. But that has to be philosophically understood. We can't imagine this truth about Krishna, can we? Go back to your life when you were not a devotee, when you have not heard Bhagavad Gita, and we had no clue what is being talked about here. So by repeatedly hearing this, we get some understanding that Krishna is not bound by the modes of material nature when he comes here. The demons cannot adjust themselves to this transcendental nature of the Lord, which the Lord himself explains in the following verse. It will come. What is the problem? They don't have faith in the words of the Lord as it is. Bas. And a devotee, even if he can't understand, as per his consciousness right now, he accepts and welcomes the words of the Lord. At least Lord is mercifully telling about his transcendental nature, and then reads it again and again, and slowly he's able to understand as the Lord reveals himself. I would obviously devotees may not have time, but I was reading it in Chaitanya Charitamrita, the deliverance of Lord King Prataparudra. Externally, the Lord is saying, "Hey, King, I don't want to see him also." But then, because of his humble nature, the Lord is revealing his confidential truth about himself. It's very strange how the Lord behaves. Externally, he's just rejecting him to set an example for his associates, but internally, he's pleased and is revealing his secret glories to Prataparudra. So I just wanted to say, because devotees welcome, devotees are happy to hear from the Lord, so they welcome the words of the Lord and they understand it in that way. So what did we learn in this shloka? That the Lord, this verse explains the omniscience of the Lord, eternal nature of the Lord, and it also explains how the living entity is not like the Lord. It doesn't remember those things. So we have to accept the version of the Lord as the Lord is speaking. I don't think any questions? No? So we shall stop here. Hopefully everybody understood everything. And I can see the self-realized souls here. Yes. Hare Krishna. So we shall stop.